You got to clap it out from over there. Oh, I didn't clap it out over here. Okay.
We put the paint where
A new medical study on the effects of marijuana use confirms that everyone knows you're high and that you'll most likely never stop feeling like this.
Your parents know you're high. Your friends know you're high. Strangers on the street know you're high.
Welcome to Everyone Knows You're High. Hosted by Uncle Kalei.
You're gonna never come back, you know, all that stupid shit.
And Uncle Erik.
If I could, retreat away.
Yeah, you should definitely try that.
This is forever. This is the new reality.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Everyone knows you're high.
This episode is brought to you by Mills Nutrients.
Friendship joint.
Ooh, I love friendship joints. I love rolling joints and friendship. I love friendship.
I love smoking joints. What else? Go for it.
I don't really like smoking them, but I love rolling them. You know, one thing I also don't like is growing weed because it seems so cumbersome and difficult. Knowing what kind of nutrients and products to use, it can become cumbersome, like I said.
Cumbersome is the word for this commercial.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is some fire weed. Who grew this?
Yours truly.
Thought bubble.
Well, you can. If you come
You
by
can hear
our
my thoughts?
Yes.
Oh my God.
You know that, man. If you come by our shop, we can help you out. Mills pays the bills, man. That's all you need to know.
What shop?
Guru's Grow Supply.
Where?
It's in Pro City.
Ooh.
Majestic Pro City.
Another one of my favorite things. Pearl City. How long has Mills been providing these high quality nutrients for?
Premium nutrients for 30 years. I've been cracking at it for about 13, so yeah.
Which is pretty crazy because if you didn't know, he's only 14 years old.
Because I was one.
But cool. So I'm gonna roll this friendship joint to celebrate our friendship. I love friendship. And to celebrate our love for millsnutrients.com.
Definitely do it. Millsnutrients.com. Check them out. Mills pays the bills.
Can we do something? 1, 2, 3. Mills pays the bills. Start the show. Be sure to check out our other sponsors. Brutal Mars Arts for all your typography, letter, and illustration needs. Check them out on Instagram, Brutal Mars Arts. Hybrid Collective in beautiful Kaimuki. Check them out for all your heady pieces to your affordable pieces. Anything glassware needed, you can check out Jay at Hybrid Collective. Pakalolo Farmers. Check out Auntie Farron and Uncle Ikaika for the best apparel you can find. Pakalolo Farmers on Instagram, check them out. And Print Shop Hawaii for all your printing needs, shirts, stickers, banners, and the like. All right, let's start the show for real this time.
I don't want to be married to you. Put me under general anesthetic, and we'll get married. And when I wake up, I'm married.
I'll sign the papers, but during the ceremony, put me out.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
It doesn't happen.
It's half stepping. It's not cool. I don't like it.
Shall we officially start the episode?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Everyone Knows You're High, starring the Grow Guru and myself, Uncle Erik.
Yee.
Coming to you live and direct from the Tattoo Labyrinth with Drew Ray, 73rd Eye Tattoos
He is
in beautiful Hawaii Kai.
Yay, thank you.
Next to the McDonald's on the corner,
Across from
Lakeside. So you know where to find them.
Hawaii Kai Shopping Center.
Yes, sir. Coca Marina, right?
No, Hawaii Kai Shopping
This
Center.
is
you
Hawaii
just said.
Kai Shopping Center.
Oh.
Coco Marina is over the pond.
Oh shit! There's two.
If you go to Coco Marina,
There's
you're gonna end
two.
up just having boat rentals. You're just gonna end up renting a jet ski and
And fire Mediterranean food.
Yeah, they have good food over there. They have a bunch of restaurants. But yeah, we're in Hawaii Kai Shopping Center by Safeway and Long's, and there's some new restaurants coming in. Nudes is coming in. There's a cool scoot. Yeah, Nudes Ramen. They're fun. Send nudes. And there's a cool new speakeasy bar called the Velvet Monkey at the end of the road. And they have that crazy recording studio called Island Sound Studios,
yeah.
where I think they finish albums. It's pretty cool.
The Velvet Monkey.
So a lot of artists and even mainland artists have recorded at that studio.
Snoop Doggy Dogg and Mariah Carey and Kanye Wizzy.
No shit.
Yeah, it's a big time studio. And they have local badasses come there, and Dave Bautista just went there and did a spoken word show, and it's pretty cool.
Dave Bautista's kind of weird now.
He lost a bunch of weight and he changed, and I think once you get done with pro wrestling or you get done with the NFL and you transition to your skinny
Off the roids.
testosterone,
Low T
Yeah.
era.
he went from and he was so extra big
Fuck yeah, he was.
that's not really sustainable. His doctor's like, yeah, turn it down a notch.
Bro, like watching some of his training videos because he rolled jiu-jitsu, and it's like the strength of that fucking guy, dude. And like watching him like bust up people, I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's so strong, dude. I couldn't
Did he
imagine.
fight in a real MMA fight?
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Did he win?
I don't know.
No. Probably should look it up. Anyway. Yeah, this shop is fucking beautiful, dude.
Thank you, dude.
Congratulations.
It is very beautiful, man. I'm proud of you.
We had to do so much. I was trying to get into this spot for 4 years, and they laughed at me at first. But I had to
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh again.
It's hilarious. And
He's used to it.
I had to send in my local kind girlfriend, and she had to speak grown up to the powers that be, and they made us fill out extra paperwork, extra interviews, make sure we're not any gangs, not affiliated with any bad guys. And I had to do all this character references, so I got to ask people I knew 15 years ago. Ask Kalei, will you please write me a letter of recommendation that says I'm
I was
not-
like, he is a walking criminal. Do not let him in.
Run! That's what they were worried about. They were a little bit worried that we were criminals and we weren't going to have the right vibe, but
I mean, I'm kind of glad they did that, but I kind of like, I mean, Costco's right across the lake, you know? Like, what the fuck, man? They allow that shit with the blink of an eye to pop up, but like a guy who wants to start a business apparently has the credentials, right? But making him go through the extra hoops and shit to get a spot because he's a tattoo artist. So it's very unconventional for this area, you know what I mean? So they make you go through a bunch more shit, which is fucking stupid, bro.
Have they ever had any other tattoo places?
there's
out this
never
way?
been a tattoo shop in Hawaii Kai.
Oh shit!
And so it's cool that we're the first one. It's a big honor. And there's a bunch of owners of tattoo shops that live here, and there's been a bunch of people try, but they didn't live here and have the right credentials. And we had a family, like our family helped put the floors in, our family helped put the drywall in, and we're blessed that some of our families in construction was willing to like give up their time and make this place look pretty. And they wanted to know that it wasn't going to look junk from the start. So I had my sister, who's a interior designer and architect, have her firm design the 3D rendering of this. And they're like, oh, you guys are legit. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, once they can see what you're talking about, then it makes it easier for them to.
Yeah,
Say
sign on
yeah,
the dotted
yeah.
line.
You know what I noticed too? Like when you walk in, like other tattoo shops you walk in, you get that grungy, rapey feel. You know what I mean? Like someone's about to fucking desecrate me.
What?
And,
Yeah,
and
dude.
all the art makes you feel like you're in a weird pizza place or you're
Yeah.
in like a weird coffee shop with terrible coffee.
It doesn't.
Alternate
it doesn't
universe,
scream.
Buca de Pepo.
Well, it doesn't scream like I'm about to fucking stick needles in you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a
Doesn't.
professional, clean place. Like you walk in here, it's like a fucking doctor's office, dude, and that's how it should be. Where like, I can sit on a table and I know for a fact that like I'm getting that tattoo and that's all I'm leaving here with. You know,
Is that a part of tattoo culture though? That kind of like grungy.
You're not in this
tattoo
fucking
parlor?
era where we know like you can prevent staph. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
Why
I think
fucking play with it?
how we approach it definitely affects the outcome. And I told the architect and the real estate people that I wanted to look like Tony Soprano's psychologist's office, but cleaner. And I wanted to feel like, do you remember that on the
I
show?
don't remember.
Okay, he had a
He had a psychiatrist?
and he
Yeah.
had like a real intense sexual relationship with her. But the
Michelle
office,
Pfeiffer?
No,
So no, you're talking about Scarface.
Yeah, you're talking about Scarface.
No,
I'm
right?
we're
talking about the
Sopranos.
Sopranos.
Oh, I didn't see Sopranos.
Oh.
I didn't watch it.
So
That's
you
something
wanted to
we're gonna
design
work on.
your place like someone that
I thought you
got
were talking
fucked by Tony Soprano.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Delete that file. We'll start over.
Edit that out.
He goes to a psychologist's office, and the room is very grown up, and it's a
Right.
big contrast to the rough gangster world of Tony Soprano. But the character is a big, large, tough guy, but you're forced to act in a cerebral way because there's books and painting and vases to try to elevate the thinking and like, let's talk about your feelings, Tony. And in that place, he's able to work through his stuff and realize, oh, I'm a monster. Let's like.
So there's like a hidden meaning where like you get through your problems here. You deal with. It's almost like a cleansing when you come in here. And like
Yeah.
part of the ritual, right?
Same as why we called it the labyrinth. Like in life, if you're just like searching and running around, you're in a maze.
Mm-hmm.
But a labyrinth is like an ancient diagram of testing or education or a tool to go through and find yourself. And there's one way in and there's one way out. It's also an analogy of how your brain works. So we wanted this place to be like higher consciousness, higher level. Think a little bit, like raise the vibration up. Because I've been in so many shops where there's so much energy running around because the art's all crazy or the people are all crazy or it's kind of dingy and you're like biologically all crazy. But I want it to be biologically clean and chill so we can just do our tattoo. And it doesn't always have to be like hippy dippy, but if you approach it like a ceremony and you slow down a little bit, give it a little bit extra respect, then it comes out way better and the people are like, ah, you explained the process to me. Yeah.
You know, I like that though. Like how you approach this is more of a therapy session and how to get through things, rather than it just being like, okay, it is about the art, and the art reflects the therapy, right, that you're doing here. So like, I like that. Like it's a hidden meaning. This is where you get through your problems. This is where you overcome things. This is where you go through a process, and I think that's like a forgotten thing in tattoo nowadays. Like you go to a lot of shops and it's about the art. Like, oh yeah, that looks nice. We can do that. You know, sometimes it's like, yeah, it's the art, but it's also like what that art represents. It may be a tough time through someone's life, maybe a celebratory thing, whatever it is. You need a peaceful space so that you can reflect on those things and talk about it. You know, I'm glad you have this couch. I'm glad you have your art supplies with books, and it's a different bar you're setting for tattoo artists out there where, you know, it's like a therapist. Like, yeah, it's like Tony Soprano's therapist without the penis, you know?
Yeah. I used to be a therapist at a psych hospital, and some of the best moments I had as a teacher where I worked with the cutters because I'm covered in tattoos and I'm a little bit nuts, and I kind of see tattooing as a positive bloodletting ceremony or positive cutting. And I said that to the kids, stop cutting. You're messing up perfectly good tattoo skin. Here's a Sharpie. You're not supposed to have this. This is contraband. And it's red. It's like blood. But if you don't cut yourself for 3 days, you get a Sharpie, then you can cover your arms with what tattoos you want to get when you get out of this hospital and you start your own life. And it was like the Pied Piper of the cutters.
I like that.
And it didn't always work. Sometimes
Pied Piper of the cutters.
sometimes I would give them the wrong art supplies. I gave them, I think it's called GIMP. It's
You give them a needle and a Sharpie?
no. I gave them bracelets that you could braid out of plastic, but it was polyester and it was a little too tight. And the one kid made a whip and was like whipping his RA with the art supplies. Like, where did you get this? Like, Mr. Drew gave it to me for calming down. Like,
S&M
no.
kink unlocked.
Yeah, but these kids are 13-year-old felons.
He's on a
with
registry 10
psych.
years later.
Yeah, right. That kid specifically burned down his whole house and got sent to the hospital with people in it, and it wasn't good.
Fuck.
And he had
Yeah.
like 20 felonies.
Holy shit.
And he wasn't able to go to prison or like the normal adoption program. So
And the red pen thing didn't work?
it only worked a little, and they would have to really. It was mostly the cutter girls that were artsy fartsy that would buy into it.
Right.
But it was just trying, like me as a baby therapist person, trying to get people to.
Just stop doing
Stop
what
Yeah.
they're
hurting
doing.
themselves?
Yeah. And in the same way now as a tattoo artist, I like before I tattoo people, I ask permission. Like a vampire, can I enter your temple? Can we start this? Do you have consent? I give everyone a piece of gum. I offer them candy or coffee or stuff. Like, if you handle their humanity a little bit, you have a better outcome than trying to do it like old school harsh. Or like my wife always talks about her first tattoo. They were playing, I think, Freddy Krueger or Jason on a TV in the corner of the Waikiki tattoo shop. And then the other dude was playing Slayer and the other dude was playing Pantera. So it was like the House of Horrors. And she's getting her lower back tattooed, and it's so painful. Like if you, I burn frankincense.
I wonder if those guys are just really trying to live that tattoo life, right? Like we gotta play horror movies and fucking heavy metal music in our tattoo shop. Like that's the
They're being
their
Beavis and
ideal.
Butthead, I think. They're
Yeah.
being little boys, and they don't realize that they're taking care of old ladies and people's moms and people's, like, not everyone's there in full metal zone with you.
right.
Most of, like, I've had probably 20 tattoos that I posted on Nextdoor that I enjoy doing memorial tattoos. Here comes this flood of aunties and uncles that can't get over losing their dog or kitty. I understand. We're doing all these memorial puppy paw tattoos and kitty paw tattoos. And as an artist who does dots, I'm like, bro, I can do the pads of a dog perfectly, I feel. Like, that's right in my wheelhouse. And the people come in sad and kind of funky about losing their buddy Tuffy. And after the ceremony, they look up at you like, oh, okay, cool. I got a piece of my dog in me for life. And they would rather hear like Miles Davis, or I play like kind of dorky jazz or chill reggae or
Like
chill.
soothing stuff.
Yeah, peaceful stuff. And they always be like, oh, you got cool music, bro. I'm like, yeah, I want you to be like nodding your head, not scared of like.
Do people ever come in and ask for like their like, can you play this? Like have requests?
They have, and
Tupac.
yeah, I've had people want a tattoo to Tupac, and I'm like, we're not gonna play Hit 'Em Up. I'm not into gangster rap in that time period because I need you to pretend like you're dead. I need you to accept the tattoo. If you're gonna listen to Pac, you're gonna be
Getting hyped up. Getting
Yeah.
fucking-
You know,
first of all.
I like when you're tattooing me, I found that listening to like Tool and shit helped out a lot. And like watching you tattoo was like watching someone draw. So it kind of took me away from like me just sitting there and feeling it, right?
Mhm.
And that was like my best coping mechanism to the tattoos was,
disassociate for a little
and not
bit.
only that, it's like get into the fucking music with aggression.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to kind of stand still, and it also made me like want to laugh when it was like really painful, because it's like you can't do nothing. What are you gonna do? Stand up and walk out?
Yeah,
No,
quit.
you've done it to yourself, asshole. So that's why I kind of giggle at it.
You
like,
signed up for this. That's why I asked for your consent. We had one moment on the side of his knee where it's so painful. I was like, all right, I'm not going to really stop for a minute. Rage Against the Machine came on.
Oh yeah, pace picked up, and I was like,
And I'm like, I want
Yeah.
to tattoo you to the beat. And there's some people that think that if you go with the heartbeat or with a beat, it's less painful and it's more of a flow. But
Get into a rhythm.
good luck staying on.
it was like the
That
Tom
makes
Morello
sense, though.
fucking solo where he's like scratching like a DJ.
Yeah, it's fucking
Ah!
just fucking no rhyme or reason
Robot.
to the fucking.
But the shin wasn't too bad. Like I thought that was gonna be a lot worse than it actually was. It was more a weird vibration when it was going over it.
Do you think your shins are like a little more conditioned? That's why, just from doing jujitsu
I
and
don't
rolling
know,
around and
like,
shit, or
I don't know. I have no basis of comparison. Right?
There's some styrofoam in there.
Yeah, it was a little bit like it just vibrated a lot, and I was like, oh shit, that's weird. Like, ugh.
We also tried to use some numbing cream, and I always tell people not to, but because I loved him, I try to use it. And then I later found out that with I like the science of tattooing. I later found out that when you apply and use lidocaine, the one off switch is alcohol. And because I'm a clean freak, I love alcohol as
So
a
you wipe
cleaning
it.
tool. Yeah. And I wipe it all down before the tattoo usually.
It was a placebo at that point. It's like,
So it's really
it's working, isn't it? Yes, it's so good.
totally working.
But I think I turned it off right before we started the tattoo.
Oh, 'cause
I'm
you did
I need to
a
clean
wipe
this
clean.
off for my friend.
It wasn't as bad as I expected. The thing that freaked me out, like, to be honest with you, when you're like, bend your knee. I was like, wait a minute. It makes everything more tiny next to the bone. I was like, oh, this is going to fucking suck.
Yeah.
Stretch the skin out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which was
gotta
kind of cool in
stretch.
retrospect because it saved your other hand from stretching, right?
Yeah, thank you, I guess. You don't have to worry about my hand. This can stretch an elephant, but yeah.
Stretching
You're
elephant's butt.
you're a carrying client to care about our stretch.
Yeah, I dreaded it at first, but it was cool. I was in good hands. No big deal.
Amen.
So what's your story, man? How'd you start off with this whole tattoo thing? Because either someone like apprentice with one person, or like
Brings
they have some
like-
sort of life change where they just kind of take this up, or it's a hobby. Like, how was it with you?
When
Bring the
I
mic closer a
was
little bit.
in hi. When I was in excuse me. When I was in 5th grade, my parents went to Tahiti and came back with a sarong book, and all the girls were topless and tattooed. And I remember thinking, like, yes, sir, I like this part of life. These are the most beautiful things. And then I started collecting books with tattoos and drawing tattoos on me. And then I made this list of all the tattoos I was gonna get. And then I was playing high school football and then college football, and all my idol people that I looked up to were tatted up, like Dennis Rodman and Kyle Turley. And I was like, ah. And I worked at a exotic pet store in Findlay, Ohio, because I was playing college football and I wasn't allowed to work a normal job and like mess up my credits and get in the way of football, because it was kind of a call, like, you can't work, you have to be ready to lift at any time. So I worked at this-
them knees, boy.
I worked at this exotic pet store, and the lady's name was Kay. And she was like the lady from Kingpin, the landlord, and she was wild. And she would grab her giant macaws and be like, don't ever touch these. They can rip your finger off. And she would take broomsticks, and they would annihilate the ends of broomsticks.
Nice.
She had a 6-foot alligator. All of her fish died one time because all the electric went off. So it was this crazy pet store. And next to it was a tattoo shop. And I sold this nice tattoo artist a Jackson Chameleon. And we did not give him the bundle with the heating element. So his Jackson Chameleon froze. And I comforted him and held him and told him it's going to be okay. And he's like, man, you're so nice. Come over and get a tattoo sometime. I was like, oh. And I went and I got my first tattoo the day of a college football game. It was like my second start, my sophomore year. And my college football coach was saying that tattoos were for sissies. And all my teammates were like, Drew's going to get a tattoo. He's so weird. And we were all getting our earrings then. And
I'm gonna get my ears pierced. Your
Tattoos are for
so
sissies. I'm
weird.
gonna go get my ears pierced.
yeah, so I went and got a tattoo. All the guys were getting their ears pierced. And I got it the Saturday morning before a game. I got in the game and crushed it on the goal line. Caught an extra point and scored 2 points. And after the game, the coach was like, Ray, what got into you? I'm like, I took off my shoulder pads, and the guys were like, show him. I took off my wet shirt and turned around, and there was my first tattoo. And he's like, well, maybe tattoos are for sissies. And he smacked it all weird and
what
gross.
a
And then his
dick.
hand was like plasmatic afterwards.
All the clear
It was
juice.
so weird and gross.
What was
I love
what
it.
was that tattoo?
Excuse me, it's called the Tricutra or the Triskelion. It's a Trinity symbol. It's on that Thor's hammer I just won. But it's on the King James Bible, on the POD album. And then when I went to Scotland to bury my dad 20 years later, it was on every grave at my family graveyard. I was like, I chose wisely. I am
Is
a
that by
high...
chance?
Yeah, by total chance.
Oh shit!
Which one? The triangle one?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
triangle one.
I never heard anyone use like it was on the King James Bible. It was on the POD album cover. It's like, just that's fucking awesome. Man.
It was on all these things that were around me as a freshman, and it was like, at that time, I was in turmoil. I was like freshman, sophomore in college. I was playing this crazy combat sport. I didn't have any beard. I was a little shrimpy Drew, and I did this tattoo that looked tougher and to be like a real boy. And like, I need to go through a pain ceremony because I am scared. And it totally worked. It totally made me play foosball better. And then I finished college, worked, and kept getting some tattoos. But then I was a therapist. And I waited till I was 28, and I saw an apprenticeship on Craigslist in downtown Columbus, Ohio. And I went to campus, went to the apprenticeship, and the guy was like, $2,000, I'm going to teach you how to tattoo. And I said, I'm not going to pay you, but I can get 2 or 3 people here tomorrow that I can tattoo, and I'll pay you back half of it. He's like, okay, as long as you talk like that. And he started teaching me to tattoo. And then his girlfriend worked at the Ohio State University, and all these people at Ohio State date, marry, or try to work there to get all the free schooling and get the free medical care, because their medical care is awesome. And so he married this chick to get his teeth fixed, and he got all his teeth fixed at once and got implants put in.
Nice. He looked like a Matt Dillon in fucking Something About Mary.
Yeah. And then they got infected, and he got addicted to opiates.
Oh shit.
And he lost.
That took a turn. That story
Yeah,
took
no,
a turn.
that's so funny.
He
Not so
lost-
funny anymore.
He lost the whole shop to a biker gang called the Avengers.
Oh,
And they all ran for their lives. to
Shitty
different
Avengers.
Because they owed like 50 grand. to
there's a
each
Captain
biker.
America in there somewhere.
And when the bikers came in, they asked me who I was and what I did. And they're like, if you clean this whole nasty place up, you can still work here in the morning tomorrow when we come back. I was like, okay. So I cleaned up this godforsaken drug den and came back, and the shop was open, but the bikers were dark, and they wanted me to sign deals and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to pass. And I was friends with Andy Raisin, the guy who really taught me how to tattoo, and at Stainskin in Columbus, Ohio, right down the street from where the famous Stoney St. Clair had a shop. And I did security for a tattoo convention company and learned how to tattoo with Andy. And at the end of my apprenticeship, right when I was supposed to start tattooing other people, Andy had an accident and got hurt real bad. And I kind of lost my mind. It was really sad. It was a gun accident. So I dipped and went to Austin, Texas, and started getting tatted up and hanging on Little Ladybird Lake.
Ladybird Lake, yeah.
And paddleboarding every day to find myself. And I got like 5 tattoos in a row from this awesome tattooer named Jonathan Montalvo, south of Austin. And that was kind of like the journey that's when it started. And then after the apprenticeship failed, I was kind of like a stray cat, and no one wanted me to be around. Everyone associated with me with that accident and stuff. And so I was kind of like looking for my way, and that's when my chef career exploded, and I was a farm-to-table chef for 4 years. And then when my dad died, I'm like, I'm not cutting onions anymore. I sold these nice cutting knives I had and said, I'm going on tattoo tour. I got to go find a place to be Tattoo Drew. And I went on a world tour and tried to find someone to adopt me. And I went to LA for a couple of years. I went to Oakland for a couple of years, and that's where I tattooed at all these different shops. I tattooed at fancy hipster shops. I tattooed at all black shops. I tattooed at Hispanic gangster shops in Albuquerque. Then I came back to Columbus, Ohio, and took care of my family for a while. And in that time period, I got adopted into a Samoan tattoo family. I got my belly tattooed in Tahoe, and the Samoan people were like, hey, you got tattooed so well, you handled it with honor. Do you mind working for us for the rest of the day? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we need a stretcher. I just tattooed my nephew for 7 days with a paya, and he's getting really sick and ill. Can you take his place? And to me, it was like a Braveheart moment. Like, do you want to join our band of warriors? I'm like, yeah. And so I stretched all day for this chief. He's like, you're in. You're good. You actually know how to tattoo, and you're cool. So he did my paya backwards. He took me on tour in Europe. We did 2 or 3 tours in Europe, an American tour. And I was a stretcher for a Samoan chief that did traditional Samoan tatau and payas. And I would have to stretch and care for the clients and take care of them and set up the whole, because you tattoo in like a makeshift Samoan room with flooring and pillows. So I would set that up for them. And I was in Amsterdam and I was tattooing with those guys, and I met all these people from Oahu. And they're like, you're so kind. You're cool, man. You've got aloha already. Come visit us. And I came here, and they were all meth heads. But I went to a party.
Boo.
Yeah, wah, wah, wah. They were,
The old bait
But
and
still-
switch.
But still, they got you to come to Hawaii.
but I got summer camp. You know how people act cool at conventions and stuff? Like at summer camp, they're like, you're best friends. I love you.
Yeah.
We'll stay in touch. Like 2 weeks later, crickets. But I came here.
Crickets and meth.
I went to a party, and I was not supposed to be at this party, and this cute girl was in the room, and she wasn't supposed to be at this party, but her friend drug her there. And she's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I don't know. I got drug here. And she's like, same. And we made a salad, and I made a giant mandala on the top of the salad with all the parts. She's like, that's so complex. I'm like, I make mandalas. That's
kinda what I do.
Kind of what I do. And we fell in love, and we're together, and we got married, and we have a 5-year-old shrimp. And she helped me get in this tattoo shop, and here we are.
Fucking beautiful story.
Hawaii Kai love.
Beautiful story.
Dun, dun, dun,
And like,
dun.
you
I'm
didn't
rich-
only
oh.
end up in like Hawaii Kai, you end up in like making history. The only first and only tattoo shop in Hawaii Kai.
Thank God. We have an awesome family, and I get to take care of the other families around me, and I get to be around my kid growing up, and I can walk home from work. And the people here are pretty cool. Like, everyone thinks it's real high maka, but there's a lot of broke, bored people that are like 28 with nothing to do here. And
Mhm.
they're just like in a food desert, like walking around this beautiful place. Like, I wish I had some toys.
Yeah.
But they can buy a $200 tattoo, and they can talk to me. And I've had a bunch of cool people that live right in this neighborhood get cool little tattoos and already bond with me. And a couple people have caught the fever. I have a couple soldiers that drive from the bases because I'm nice to them, and I got back to them because I asked him, like, why do you drive all the way here from Kaneohe? He's like, you got back to me right away, and you said I had a good idea for my tattoo. I was like, that's all it takes. He's like, yeah, bro. Other people were real mean to me and said it couldn't be a tattoo. I'm like, it's a skull, man.
Yeah. we can
Any
do
kind
that.
of skull tattoos can, bro.
It's your positive attitude. Most tattoo people aren't as nice as you, dude.
Yeah, totally. It's that comfortability.
Even
yeah.
ones I'm related to aren't as nice as you to me.
I think that's the artist thing or the rock star thing, or they're insecure. I have a communications degree, and I was brought up in a restaurant family, so that would not be tolerated. Like, if the ghost of my dad walks in, he's going to be like, boy, where's your service manners? You better greet everyone. He had aloha, you know what I mean? Like, he would make you greet everyone with love and hug people. My dad acted like he was a local Hawaiian person in Ohio. Hug people, hug everyone. Tell everyone you love them. If they die, you would feel terrible if they die in a car wreck. Because people in Ohio be dying in car wrecks. Deers are coming out. Sleet and snow is coming out.
I met everyone that I met from Ohio was pretty cool. Like everyone that I came in contact with, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Ohio." Like they were actually really cool fucking people.
The best ones get out. So many famous artists, musicians, because it's a good place to grow up. It's the crossroads of everything, so you get sprinkled in culture from everywhere else, but you're still in this incubator. But it's one of those things in your hero's journey. You need to get out and go to Cali. You better go to New York. You better go to North Carolina. You might want to go to Florida and see how they get it. But
Get out of the Midwest.
Bro, it's weird. I was in Massachusetts and me and Ashley was at a restaurant, and then the waitress walked by. I was like, "Hey sis, I can grab another beer," and she's like, "Oh my God, you called me sis? That's so crazy."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit, that's
You're not
right."
used to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Was she offended, or she just was kind of
She was actually
shocked to hear
flattered.
it? Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She thought it was cool.
yeah.
It's funny being from Hawaii and knowing that you're in Ohio. Like I know people in Ohio. It's like, I wonder if you know them. Because you don't know what you
Yeah.
like. Hey, you know so and so. You're from here. You know so and so. But it's such a huge world out there. I mean, it is tiny, but it is a huge world.
Mm-hmm.
Oahu and
Funny.
Ohio, though, are major crossroads. Like, the people to get to Japan go through here. People to get to L.A. come through here. People going to other islands come through here. In the same way, Ohio, my little sister's best friend growing up owns the McDonald's at the end of our street. But, like, 5 highways cross. It's the #1 McDonald's in the United States sometimes because all these major highways stop. All the tour buses stop. The Cleveland Browns
It's the
stop there.
hub,
Yeah. And that's where Jesse James had a hideout. Al Capone had a hideout because it's in between New York and Chicago. It's in between Detroit and Louisville. And it's the heart
That's
of it
right,
all. But I feel like the laws of attraction have been amplified in the shop. I have so many people that I'm tattooing. They're like, "Where are you from?" And I tell them, like, "I'm from the Midwest. I'm from middle of a cornfield." They're like, "Oh my God, my cousin's from Ohio." And they usually have one Kevin Bacon degree of
Right.
homieship.
Yeah. That's how I kind of feel too when you said Ohio. It's like my wife's family's from Ohio,
There's also some sort of like relative
from
link that you can
Youngstown
make
and
to-
like
to anything.
Canfield, but they moved. Or her cousin now lives in Columbus. I think she works for radio stations out there.
One of my funnest teammates from college was named Jim Coder from the Canfield Cardinals. He was on my college football team. And he's the first person I ever met that was on Adderall. And he would save his Adderall and take it all on Friday for the whole week and run around the dorms in his underwear and wear a monkey mask. And if you were not being cool, if you were sleeping too early, he would come in your dorm room and scare the bejesus out of you. He was also an animal handler.
So if you're not on Adderall, you're not on my level. You're not cool.
You were on his level.
This shit is time release, right? If I just take all 8 right now,
all
it should
70
be
milligrams times 7. So he worked at the zoo and got like a 9-foot anaconda or python from the zoo because it was too docile. It would go out to the schools and it wouldn't move, and all the kids would be like, "It's dead, it's dead," and they're like worried, like this thing's not moving. When it does move, it's going to be gnarly. So Jim adopted it. So the whole football team would be in the windows or the window of his dorm, the windows on the outside or the dorm window to watch him feed chickens and kittens from the neighborhood to his snake because it would come alive. Then he got tarantulas versus scorpions.
Oh, he
shit.
made the cross species
Yeah.
battle.
paying people to watch that shit.
We got in
or
trouble
charging.
by PETA because of him. We were coming out of the cafeteria, and there's a lot of animal lovers on the University of Findlay campus because it's the #1 equestrian college in the Midwest. So there's all these horse-loving girls around. And Jim would always take apples and oranges home and take them back to his dorm room and give them to his animals and all his pets. He saw a squirrel and was like, "I can hit that squirrel." And a couple of the hillbilly guys were like, "No, you can't hit that squirrel." He hit and killed the squirrel. All these people saw it and told our coaches and called an environmental group, and all this stuff blew up. The track and field coach heard about it and pulled Jim aside and said, "I will help you make restitution, apologize to the girls, and say you're going to join the track team to try to fix this and work through you throwing things." So he became a collegiate level javelin thrower,
Thank you,
all
squirrel.
hyped up on Adderall. He could throw it the whole football field, this guy. And then this crazy guy left school, left home, went and lived in Africa with one of the guys off the cross-country team.
Straight took his javelin skills to Africa.
Went to Africa and kicked it with these African dudes, and they accepted him and loved him. His beard got so big, and he's like Sicilian, like chocolate Italian. When he came back, he was so tan, and his beard and hair was so long like Forrest Gump, his parents didn't recognize him. He's like, "It's Jim, guys." But
What did you do to our son?
He was kicking it in the Sudan,
That's fucking
throwing the
nuts.
homies how to throw spears because he could light stuff up.
He really wanted to get out of Ohio.
Yeah.
Shit.
It was Africa.
Hell yeah.
The opposite of
The
Ohio.
opposite of Ohio.
No
That's
shit, yeah.
fucking funny. So tell me, what's your ideal client?
I always say, when people say, "What's your style?" it feels like martial arts, and I have several styles. But I guess the first style, or my favorite style, or what I always articulate as my style, is geometry or patterns or dots. Because when I first started tattooing, I was fresh from being therapist driven. I didn't want to really hurt people. But I was getting heavily tattooed, and people were just wailing on me with Harley Davidson like machines, not letting me pick the designs, being really rough, blaring music, having dogs underneath the station like pit bulls, like all these things. And they were so rough on me. And because I'm big and Shrek like football Drew, they're like, "Arr."
He can take it.
I remember thinking like, this could be so much cooler if it's like Miles Davis, man. Don't make it like full Pantera all the time.
Throw a little Enya into the mix.
Yeah, a little. Who can say?
Yeah, Mount the War and Enya just kind of levels each other out.
Yeah.
You can just throw it in the playlist, dude.
You know, punk is also pretty good getting tattooed.
Yeah, punk is very delicious and ska keeps the beat is perfect for the tattoo. Or Hawaiian music or Polynesian singing, like the real beautiful singing, you can get lost in the mana of that.
I cannot.
Do people ever want to wear?
The Samoans beat that into my tailbone, so I can't.
Yeah.
Do you have people wanting to use like their own headphones with like binaural tones and like that new shit where it's like 434 megahertz and it's all this like finely tuned frequencies?
I would say I don't want you to wear headphones because I want us to share the moment together. We're on this journey. But I would say if it's therapeutic music, we can blare that together. But I don't want you to wear headphones. I'm not going to wear headphones.
This separates you from
I
the
asked the
client.
girl to take off her mask because I'm like, we're doing a bloodletting ceremony. This is a little bit dangerous, but the gods are going to protect us in this moment. And if you get weird or I say, sis, are you okay? I'm about to go over your elbow. I don't get any read from you if you have a mask on. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she took her mask right off. I'm like, I want to share this moment with you. Let's both try to be present. If you need headphones, I get it. I would work with it. But I feel like when you see tattoo artists wearing headphones, they're not being priests or they're not being...
So not the artist wearing the headphones, the client wearing headphones.
Yeah, but I was just trying to speak on it, like, because I get a convention, you see it a lot, but some people are so in their head. But then you think maybe you're not really a tattooer, you're a painter on people. Like, part of being a tattooer is you're a non-magical shaman or you're a field medic for them. You're like in the midst of their shit, helping it like piece it back together so they can feel better about themselves.
You're triaging them.
Yeah,
in the
you're
moment.
triaging them.
Emotionally, a little bit physically.
Yeah, and then they get to keep a so many things we do, you don't get to keep a reminder of it forever, like a massage or going to see a therapist. But our moment, I better do a good job because you're going to look at it every time you shower and every time you get ready to go to the pool. You're going to think about me doing awesome or terrible. So I'd prefer it to be like, let's slow down. Let's do one thing at a time. Let's not multitask. The biggest oopses in tattooing is when people grab their cell phone or they're like, ugh, and I've seen people, one guy got it across the whole face because he went to grab his cell phone right as the dude was going in and went, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, fuck.
He's like, what can I do? Like, you can literally do nothing but get lasered or cut it out.
Yeah.
You dove for your cell phone. This is teaching you that you're obsessed with that damn phone, bro.
I can't even focus on the goddamn phone, bro. It's like,
No, you need to be in the moment, counting, breathing, and dying.
it's fucking.
It would be
so
like in
People are
yoga
just on
class.
it, just scrolling while you're getting tattooed.
I don't know how people are like sleeping or on their phones. Like, I
Ask
can't
Nicole.
read.
Nicole fell. She was like, I could have fallen asleep.
Yeah, she was passed out.
Yeah.
And, she went to the other place, which is what I prefer, and I teach people to count, to breathe, and it's best if you go to Shavasana and go to the other place and feel peace. I got a Sakyant, which is a Thai magical tattoo, and on my shoulder and my back, and it hurts really bad because they don't stretch, and they're just cracking it in with a long bamboo stick. And you have to be in complete silence, and you have to meditate. And I started crying hysterically. There's like 3,000 people around me in a convention. Some are trying to talk to you, and you can't talk to them. And I was in the middle of a forest, and I saw all these temples and all these weird animals that look like old Thai tigers where their teeth are coming out weird and they have teeth on weird spots of their body. I was crying, and it wasn't the sad cry. It was like the tripping cry where you're like, I'm so in this moment. I'm really alive. And then afterwards he's like, I don't normally ask this, but what did you see? And I told him, he's like, yes, that's the place where all tattoos and ideas come from. It's a giant mystical forest where all the animals we've ever thought of come from. I was like, oh.
Sounds like that place in Shang-Chi.
And it's
That
in Batman, when Batman goes up to get the blue flower. And then he asked, was there any flags? And
Flags?
yeah, there was
I don't think you can
millions
say that
of
on
prayer
YouTube.
flags. And he's like, those are the flags of all your ancestors and your family praying for you. I was like, ah! And then it got even creepier. He's like, now you must pay. You don't pay me, you're paying Buddha. So you can put whatever offering and whatever that tattoo is worth to you and whatever magic you want from that tattoo, you can pay. So I was like,
Funny thing about Buddha, he doesn't recognize anything under 2 racks.
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like,
But now you're also invincible too, right?
so I paid like $400 because I thought that was happy medium, and I would get hooked up by job, but I wouldn't get
Yeah.
stingy, and I will get tipped as a tattoo artist.
Yep.
But I probably won't get the blessing now that I told you that. But it's okay.
No, I think you maybe have already gotten it.
I obviously have.
Yeah, you have.
I'm very lucky, bro. When I opened this shop, we were walking through the Blaisdell to see our homie, Ricky. He has the brand Accept It and Adjust. That's who I came on the podcast with last time. We love you, Ricky. I was going to see his brand at the Blaisdell at the craft fair, and there was this Thor's hammer, and I was like, I need this. Oh, it has my tattoo, my first tattoo on it, and I signed up for it, and I won it, and the lady brought it here, and I was like, oh. Then I signed up for this ink company, the best ink ever, and I use a lot. I'm really OCD about using good ink, and I want to know who it's from. I want to know who makes my tattoo machines. I want to know the story behind the product I'm cooking with. And I won 10 bottles of the best ink from Europe. My friends makes it in Italy, one of my tattoo buddies. They sent it here, and customs tried to take it, and I had to like write this big form that this is, I know what it is, it's not illegal, it's not contraband to the state of Hawaii. And then they accidentally left me on their winning list again, so they did another raffle, and I got 10 more bottles.
Shit.
And so I've been
Sign
so
for it, and a
blessed.
big kilo of cocaine shows up on your doorstep. Like, wait a minute.
This guy won.
tattooing.
It's
Gotcha.
silly.
So I've been so blessed winning stuff, the shop, getting in this area, getting to work by my family, and my wife gets to sit at the front desk, and I can, when I don't have appointments, still drive my kid to school or take her to gymnastics, which is awesome.
And what would be a final blessing is like finding that ideal person to work with you at the shop.
Yeah, we're definitely hiring. We have all this space, but we're trying to build the right team. It feels like a band, and I want to get all the different parts, but if they don't fit in the culture and the tribe, and if they're not advanced in their martial arts as a tattoo artist, if they need to have like a proper upbringing, have their own clients, be open to tattoo walk-ins, because I do appointments, I have clientele, and I take walk-ins. One of the old school cool things about old tattooing is you would just walk in and the tattoo artist had to be ready like a barber to take care of the homie and work for them.
You're looking for the Ronnie James deal to your Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or at least Zach Wilde.
Yeah.
At least someone in the culture that has a beard, that has dreads.
I don't know how to
Bun.
tattoo, dude.
I'm just kidding.
I did look at Nicole. I look at there's the work, the evidence of my work.
Yeah. I have had a lot of people that
Sorry, bunny.
tattoo themselves, and I tattoo myself, and I understand it as a pain ceremony, and I understand it is a bonding thing that you could do with your spouse, but you don't leave a beautiful mark like you wish you could.
No, never. I don't know what I thought the outcome was gonna be. Like, oh, this is gonna be.
No, but that's a cool one that you can be like, no matter how hard I tried, I could never have gotten it
Yeah,
to
well,
look to,
we've
to
already
match what I thought.
we've
you
come up with cover-up ideas.
Well, don't, because it's
No,
like
we're
the
good. She's gonna do it.
imperfection on the perfection, right? That's what you would kind of spin it off as.
It's just like martial arts, and when you look at these awesome fighters and you see in their corner they have 3 other champs, and they're going to the best boxing coach and the best dietitian, and they're getting massages and they're getting rolfed and they're getting their Achilles tendon stretched. It's the same way with tattooing. I've been around all these great people. They poured into me, and some of them beat the crap out of me, but the ones that were loving to me and like met my soul and the technical part and the art part all at once. I got tattooed in LA. I was living in LA, and Jeff Johnson, this awesome guy, started tattooing me, and he's like, "You want to get tattooed by my friend Nate? I can get you in." He's tattooing at Memoir in Hollywood with all the rock stars from LA Inc. So I went to get tattooed by him, and he had just become completely sober. He was 8 days sober, and it was so intense to get tattooed by him. You were so scared about the parking. You're in downtown Hollywood. It's so million dollar houses, banks, all these weird synagogues, tattoo shop. And this artist, Nate, was so cool and so intense and so in the moment. And I told him that I was a baby tattoo artist, and I told him my dad had just died, and he like incorporated all that stuff in. And really, the things he said to me is like, if you got to talk to Hunter S. Thompson, or if you got to talk to Jack Kerouac, because he was so raw and he was about to blow up in his career. And in the middle of the one tattoo, he's like, "Have you ever thought about killing yourself?" And I was like, "I have. I've worked through that." He's like, "Don't give in to the darkness. It's too easy." And then he went back to tattooing my tits.
Nice.
And it lit me up. But that story has healed me
Gems.
so
Don't ever
much.
kill yourself.
Right, but
Titty.
he beat that into my
Titty.
like into my titty. And then the other thing, he was tattooing the inside of my arm, and we were talking about all the tattoo people on your hero's journey as a tattoo artist that are acting like they're going to help you, but they're really trying to hurt you. And I was so afraid to do bad tattoos and so afraid to hurt people at first that I was like gun shy, like Charles Barkley when he putts. And Nate, in the moment of tattooing my arm, says, "You know, there is no rules." And he just went right back to tattooing. And just is like, you're laying there. And one of the things about tattooing that's so important about making an awesome ceremony is that people remember that because it's attached to the pain. You don't remember so much of life, but you remember that part. Or when you wreck your car, or when you break your leg, you remember the set and setting and what people said and how they treated you and helped you or hurt you. But in the moment, like, I was around all these awesome tattooers, and they were famous-y or really good, and they either treated me beautifully or terribly. And I guess that's how I made my technique of shadow boxing. And I guess in looking for clients, I want to be therapeutic. I want to be helpful to your soul, but I also want to do a really good tattoo that looks dope in 10 years. So the best kind of clients are people that are like, they want a certain thing, and then they want your interpretation of it. And they want it in a style that I do. So I can do geometry or traditional or Japanese. All the world, like indigenous style of tattoos, have a real big influence on my art, because when you've been an apprentice and you've been taught by all these people, you're like part of a chain of a giant centipede, and you're part of the story that you get to carry on. And like, I'm not going to ever do it better than Samoans, and I'm not going to ever do it better than the Japanese dudes in Tokyo during the Edo period. Like, they were the Michael Jordans of printmaking and painting and then tattooing. So we can reference those things, and we can make them look in the same like language or song as those things. And yeah, that's how I approach it. And clients that want to go on the journey with you, and I always tell people, to find a tattoo artist, you need to find someone that you want to sit with in a car ride for 3 hours.
Right.
That's a good one.
Fucking like 8 hours sometimes.
Yeah. So the client with this type of it's like really, intimate without being the normal intimate things, because you have this moment, it's real intense, and then
Both involve penetration.
yeah. But ours, but leaving a mark, it tells on the quality and the behavior of your ceremony forever. And you can try to cover it up, and it doesn't always work.
You know, like I went to go CQ when my grandma passed away, and like the St. Christopher was kind of cool because I got her pendant that she wore, and then putting that on my leg and blowing it up was kind of more of a meaningful ceremony. And like I gotta admit, when I was done, it's like I let go of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like my grandma passing, it was life. I saw it happen in front of me. Coming to terms with that person not being there anymore was a rough one. But then like having the tattoo is like, okay, well, she's not here, but she's here. I'm a constant reminder for the rest of my life. And that's the one thing that we always fucking we fear with death and losing somebody, is losing the memory of that person, right? So it's even more so of a meaningful thing getting that on my leg. You know, when I'm fucking old, it'll still be there, and then she'll still be here. You know, like what is that Pixar film when you fucking lose memory, they cease to exist? What is that one?
Coco.
I tell people this is in Braveheart too. I tell people this during memorial tattoos. In life, you die 2 deaths. The first death is when you leave your mortal coil and go to the next place. The second death you die is when your people stop talking about you and your name is no longer uttered on the aina. So today, like when I'm tattooing the person, your grandpa is alive in our shop, or your dog Tuffy is alive and still has its flow, and your grandma still gets.
And that's why they got family crests, right? Because like over generations, you still have that symbol that would represent not only one singular person, but that whole lineage of people. So it kind of marks that, you know what I mean, in time and in reality. Because if there's no record of you ever being here, you never existed, right?
Right. And I call it a ceremony, and we try to slow it down, take it serious, show it respect, do it as clean as possible, do it with the right technique, and then do it like for a positive reason. And I guess going through therapy, learning in life, sometimes you go too fast and you forget and you're clumsy. But as humans, we do ceremonies so we remember, we slow down. And our culture is totally devoid of any type of time stamp ceremonies. We have some for when you're 15 or 16 or 13. We have some when you turn 21. We have some when you get married, but we don't have rite of passage as much as warrior cultures, indigenous ancient tattoo cultures. So when tattooing, we try to slow this one part of life down. And like the tattoo we did for your grandma, it took several sessions, but the whole time it was kind of like the good memory part you hold on to. One of the cool things I read about ancient Hawaiian grieving, because I've been reading, I like when you said let's do this tattoo, because then I get to nerd out on the history of St. Christopher, nerd out on Hawaiian tattoos. In Hawaiian grieving, one of the ancient practices was to make a bone pillow. You take one of the bones of your ancestors and sew it into your bone so you could be with them in the dream world and have their mana go into your skull, and then you can be together in your dreams. And it felt like it's the same type of place when you're doing a memorial tattoo. I get to meet your grandma. I get to meet your good memories of it. And I get to coach you through it. We made it so pretty and uplifting. It was like you had your St. Christopher pendant and we put a flashlight on it and shined it big for your grandma. That's why I say don't get RIP tattoos. Stay away from dates. Sometimes stay away from
isms. The isms in tattoos are the ones that you gotta avoid. Like the isms is like to signify an end of something, you know what I mean, or to time stamp something.
Yeah,
it's more of an honor of something. Like that's why some tombstones, they don't have a sunrise sunset date, right? It's just the name and what they were to the people, right?
You lived, you were
beloved
beautiful.
Daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All of that
Don't
shit.
focus on the last ceremony. And when you're a baby and when you're dying, you're pooping everywhere, you're vomiting everywhere.
You don't want to remember that.
I want to remember, like if you died, I would want to remember me and you at the beach playing with our daughters, surfing. Totally. I would want to remember helping each other out, packing our houses when you were moving. Like that is
Right.
the memory. I don't want to see you like, God forbid you die of cancer and have to go through hospice. I don't want to paint you that way. I don't
Yeah.
want to remember you that way. And a couple people have asked me to do pictures of their passed away child that they were holding. And I'm like, I will do this for you. I will help you. But you could also do an apple or a bird and do it representationally, especially for cute girls or people that don't like to be bugged. I always say this: do you want creepy guys at the gas station when you're a little bit cranky being like, what's that tattoo for? Like, oh, this is for my dead grandma. She died real hard.
Right.
Not now, bro.
Yeah, she battled cancer.
Yeah,
it's
for
like
60
no one
years.
gets a tattoo of an open casket. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they try to remember the best portrait of them and put that on them. Like no one does a crime scene footage on their.
Do you guys foresee yourselves having an open casket or being cremated?
I want to be fucking cremated and chopped into tiny little lines, and all my buddies just snort me.
Gross. So then they're snorting other people too, because there's not a 100%
Hey, roll
guarantee
the-
that
roll
when
the
you
dice,
get when you get
fellas.
that urn back that it's all your grandpa.
Yeah, it probably isn't.
No, it's not.
They're just scooping
Guaranteed not.
ashes, dog.
Yeah, it's
They cremated my dad, and at the end of his life, my dad was trying to be real sacrificial and make it easy on us. And he didn't want to have the funeral, the expenses, and all that. So my high school buddy from my Little League baseball team got to cook my dad in a giant thing and make him into ashes. And then I made him into tattoo ink, and all the black you see is my dad's ashes. But I see it as a sign of respect that he did that. It was being easy peasy. I went to a Hawaiian funeral lately, and the respect that's paid to the bones, the Iwi Kapuna, is very beautiful and makes you feel like that's the OG right way to do it. And all the flesh melts away, and you're left with the bones for a long time. So it's like showing respect over generations.
Yes.
And how Samoan and Hawaiian cultures clean up the burial tomb, take good care of the bones, set them in a certain order. It's very beautiful, but knowing a Samoan person that had to go fly back to Samoa from New Zealand, spend like $20K, fix the ground and the structure of the burial thing, and clean it, it seems like terrible hard work that I would be like, bro, you can cremate me so you guys don't
yeah.
have to. But if you're if you have a burial tomb of your family, I would think it would be dope to have all the squad lined up. And I love skulls, so I have a client now that's getting like, I think I've given him 5 skulls. He's like, are you cool with that, bro? Do you think it's cool? I'm like, bro, I have 7 skull tattoos. I have tons of skulls, and there's something about comic book artists, tattoo artists, punk rock, metal, kids, 90s kids. We grew up with a little bit of macabre, and it's not evil, it's not satanic, it's a little bit Bart Simpson, and it's a little bit reality. Everyone's like, Botox, Ozempic, everything's fake and plastic. But when you see a skull, you're like, oh, yeah, I got a place I'm going.
Yeah.
We all going there, and the ticket's already paid for.
Don't worry about losing weight now. You'll just be bones later anyways.
Yeah. But
It seems like tradition isn't meant to be practical, though. I mean, some of it is. Some of it is rooted in practicality, but like as opposed to this setting you on fire and letting your shit burn, like that's way more practical. It's way
That's very
easier.
practical.
You know what I mean?
That's very
Like the
helpful.
Viking way, just put them on a pyre, set it on
Or
fire.
the Native American way, when you know you're sick, you run into the woods and hide so you die like a dog
Yeah,
and you
and-
don't trouble your family. Is gangster, too, to me.
You ever heard of like sky burials in Tibet
No,
and
go
in
on.
Nepal?
Up
They
high.
bring the bodies up and put them on like platforms and just leave them out for the
Oh,
vultures
yeah,
to
yeah,
come and
yeah,
eat
yeah.
them, so that way their body can go up to the
Native
heavens.
Americans
It's closer.
have that, yeah. And then, but then you have burial grounds. It seems like you make yourself to have a weakness that can be exploited in war. If you have all these burial grounds, it's like you have a permanent soft spot of your culture. And the Native Americans got so fucking freaked out by the Ohio settlers coming in and destroying their burial grounds that you just can't tell people where they are. And that's
Yeah.
why they would always be like, we're
Yeah,
not
keep
going
it
to tell
hidden.
you where we buried Tecumseh or Sitting Bull. Like, all the chiefs and stuff, in Kamehameha, they got to hide them right away.
Yeah.
Because they're going to steal the bones, steal parts of the body. They took parts of Captain Cook and put them all over and kept parts of them. Alexander the Great. If you look back in history, the greats got tomb raided.
Doesn't Skull and Bones have someone famous?
They have
as
Geronimo's
Geronimo's
skull, and they try to return it, but Geronimo's tribe, which is special Apaches, I have a tattoo of Geronimo's female commander. They were a very special tribe. They fought the U.S. government in the hills for 5 years on the run. There was like 50,000 troops against like 1,500 Apache. And the Skull and Bones gang that's based out of Yale and has a windowless fraternity house at Yale, went to Geronimo's reservation with George Bush, Prescott Bush, and they stole the skull. And that's where Skull and Bones gets their mana. And they were going to return it because of the ghosts and the negative energy. But the tribe said, no, we already did the ceremonies for when someone takes our bones. We don't want that. That's not him anymore. We put his mana in
That's
another
yours
skull.
now.
That's yours. Enjoy that curse, bro.
Good.
I don't know. That curse seems to be working out pretty well. They all meet their demise eventually, but those who come out of that Skull and Bones fraternity, man, they rise to places of
They
power.
run the United States.
Yeah.
There's still one in power right now, John Kerry.
Fuck, who else? I'm sure they're trying to do a
George.
lot better job of keeping it secret, because who knows the young ones coming out of there now where they're gonna land in the next 10, 15 years, what seats of power they're gonna be occupying.
I think that's going to be a lot harder to do because of the internet and awareness on this sort of thing. They're going to have to come up with new crafty ways of doing this shit. And for conspiracy theorists and how well they're tracking this, like that one dude with the mustache you sent to me,
Ian Carroll. Cancel Ian.
bro, like that guy goes deep, and they can't pull the wool under their eyes fucking that long, bro. They're gonna fucking see right through that shit, and they're gonna come up with new craftier ways of trying to hide.
They don't even try to hide it anymore. They just say, fuck you, what are you going to do about it? It's like that epic Mike Tyson response. So what, I voted for Trump. What are you going to do about it? It's like, that's how the government feels. Like, what the fuck are you going to do? We'll just take over other governments.
Totally.
Regime changes, new wars. But actually, we haven't had a new war in a while. Or not. And
We're bombing 7 countries.
no, not. I mean,
yeah, but
I meant not in the last 4 years. We're in a lot of places
Talking about
now.
world wars.
They don't do world wars as much. They do small regime.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't even call them wars anymore, because for a war you got to get Congress approval.
Right.
So now they just
Insurgents.
helping other people or doing some weird shit. We'll find out all about the black ops they're performing now 60 years from now.
I tattooed a cool super spy guy that would only refer to his name as a letter. He had a beard as long as you and hair down to his butt. He served 18 tours in Iraq. I have all his pictures of his tattoos right here. He gave me a coin that was like this big, and he said, "Can you tattoo this on my foot?" And I tattooed on his foot, and he's like, "All right, I'm going to tell you what the number means. There's a secret number on that. If you type that on Google, it's a warning to other spies. I now work in intelligence, and I train and help."
Can you be saying this right now?
Yeah, I can. He shouldn't.
He shouldn't have said
He
it.
helps Green Berets and Navy SEALs that are losing their minds. He helps them calm down and don't go to the news and don't kill yourself. But he also works in military intelligence, and he's part of the Five Eyes network with all these other countries.
Mm-hmm.
The number, when you type it in, says on Google, "We are the Five Eyes. We are watching you. We know who you are. We will find you." And he was so crazy, and I was like, all right, I'm a big conspiracy theorist. Answer me one question. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? And this was 5 years ago. This was right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, all right, I was working Secret Service detail at a Bill Clinton event, and Hillary Clinton showed up there, and when there's that many people of that nature, the Secret Service is on full alert. Well, Jeffrey Epstein flies in unannounced, lands a plane, and everyone's freaking out about the numbers, and he's like, that's why I remember this. The numbers that Jeffrey Epstein had on his plane were from Mossad and CIA.
Mhm.
There's only a few planes in the world that have both those numbers, and they can get into any airport in the world without being touched, bothered. And he had one of those on his plane. He's like, and that's all I want to talk about, Mr. Epstein. I was like, oh.
He referred to him as Mr. Epstein
Yeah.
too.
Very uncomfortable guy.
What do you
I
think?
feel uncomfortable.
When do you
Yeah.
think those declassified files from MLK and JFK?
A lot of them have already came out.
What?
Well, yeah, he already signed the
So
thing.
who killed JFK?
But I haven't even heard anything about it, really.
JFK,
CIA, bro. Fucking
CIA.
No, I
George
know,
Bush
but like, what's
Senior.
the details? It's
The
declassified. So,
Mossad and CIA killed him.
well,
Yeah.
like, is that documented, released, where we can all read it?
Yeah, there is one group of videos they say was unreleased where the driver turns around and shoots him twice, and they put a poison in the bullets that would kill him if the shot didn't. That's why they exchanged his brain in the autopsy. There's all this controversy with his brain being exchanged
Missing. It's
in
missing.
the autopsy. And then the cover-up goes on when they killed Jack Rudy, and they were all the people involved in the JFK event were all being treated by the same doctor,
Right. I heard about
Dr.
that.
Jolly West. So he was Ruby's doctor,
Okay.
and he was Charles Manson's doctor.
Yes.
And
So wait,
He
is
was
this
a part of this thing called like Operation Midnight Climax,
I
where
heard
they
about that.
secretly dose dudes with LSD just to see how they react at like brothels and
Brothels.
Yes.
whorehouses and shit.
and then they had that.
But is this out though? Like, you know
Well,
how
that stuff's all out.
President Trump
I
signed that?
don't know if
Is
the
it out
actual
for, like-
documents came out like because he said he was going to declassify everything.
Yeah, that's what I want to see, like the full
I don't
write
know
up
if it,
on
I
everything.
don't know if it happened like instantly, where like now it's on
because
Googleable.
we're gonna not trust our government more now. You know
It's
what I
already
mean?
there. It's already there.
Oh,
I mean, it's only I don't know what it's gonna.
accomplished.
It's just gonna confirm what everybody already's kind of been saying.
Which
I think.
is cool,
Unless
right?
there's some crazy shit in there that was like, oh, that's a left turn that nobody really predicted.
like MLK. Like, what do you think MLK? Like, what do you think happened to him when they declassify that? What do you think can come out of that? Like,
They declassified it, but I don't
Nothing
think you
really.
would know.
Nothing's really gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's not like they can.
I don't think people that grew up the way we grew up with the social programming and engineering, they told us who the good guys are, they told us who the bad guys
Right.
are. They
Right.
told us this is bad, don't do this. We are so biased and ingrained. Like when you eat M&Ms or you eat a Snickers bar, or like nostalgic stuff like Coca-Cola Classic, bro. Some stuff's in our brains from our childhood. When you don't want to meet your heroes. I have met some of my heroes, and it's not what you had hoped for, and your expectations are gross. They make these characters like the ones you talked about into super good guys or super bad guys, but they live normal lives, and they acted a certain way, not realizing they were being filmed and videoed constantly. So there's a lot of humanness available for those people.
so who killed MLK?
The CIA or the FBI, I'm sure.
They said it was a single shooter named James Earl Ray, and it's not possible for that type of military assassination to be done by one guy that was an old teacher with a gun in
Right.
the middle of a field. He was killed by a team of military assassins.
Keep it going. I gotta pee real quick.
Yeah. He was killed by a team of military assassins, and they covered up. And there was all these weird players there, like Jesse Jackson that was standing right by him. So you see all these news characters that have been in the news the whole time of our lives, and they were at these places. There's no coincidences. So
It's like, how can this one? It's like in a movie, right, where you're following the main character, and it's like all this crazy shit is happening to this one person in this movie, but then you think like, well, they are the main character, so we would be following their story. But like, so many people have extraordinary stories that have gotten them to their positions of power, and it's like, how the fuck? It's kind of weird. Like the Bushes, for example, right? You think how they got there, and then you learn it's family. It's Prescott Bush. It's funding the Nazis and doing all this kind of crazy shit with oil and all this stuff. It's like, bruh. Then you start looking at all these other families, right? These political lineages and stuff, and it almost is like a monarchy within the United States when you have, 16 years of Bushes, and then
All the presidents are cousins.
are related, right? I've heard that too.
They're all related.
And it's like, I heard Bush and Obama were only separated by like a couple cousins. Like they're not even that far removed.
And all the
And it was a girl
and
in-
all the actors are strangely related.
And it's all like through one of the kings, of England or something, right?
Yeah.
They're all bloodline to like King James or King Rufus or something.
What did I walk in on?
Even the fucking Queen of England, like all of our rulers everywhere, they're all from the same bloodlines.
Oh yeah.
Apparently there's 13 of them,
Huh.
There's all
13
these different
families. And they're everyone. That's all you need to know, and nobody knows who they are. Maybe know like 4 of them. Right? The Rothschilds, the fucking Rockefellers, the Bushes, the Clintons. Nah, not even. I don't even think they're on that level.
And
They wish
Yoshikawas.
they were in the 13
And in the
bloodlines.
United States, they just signed all these bills. Trump signed a bunch, and DeSantis signed a bunch. You're not allowed to criticize any of those families. You're allowed to criticize every culture
Mm-hmm.
and every group in America,
Except
for one culture and one group, and it's all the families of all the people you said. That's weird.
yeah. That's what they say.
Pews.
If you want to know who your overlords are, just look at who you can't talk shit about.
Right.
Right.
Or who you talk bad about, and they shut down your phone or shut down
Mhm.
your bank account.
I think when Papa T came in on, we found that out.
Yeah.
Well,
real
I know why
quick.
we got flagged. It's because of. It was one specific reason. I'm not gonna say it again. I don't want this one to get flagged and
Yeah.
taken down.
Yeah.
But it's such bullshit. But it's the way they were saying. It's the way I worded it. It's just like, dude. I get your algorithm flag that, but look at the rest of the fucking podcast. Get some context and like.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give medical advice to anybody.
No, I think it's not only that. I think it's like the algorithm sets like the flag up,
No, yeah, it's
and then they're like, oh, nah, fuck that.
it's just certain words that these flags look for to flag it because they just want to be flags all the time.
Flaggers,
Yeah.
flaggots.
Flag it down.
They just get like their jollies from flagging shit, dude.
I mean, hey, that's a cool little fucking thing. Flaggots.
What about them?
No, it's politically correct nowadays, right?
Yeah, they flag
Yeah,
everything.
the people that work on the side of the road. That
You
help
censor
stay
me, you're a
safe.
flaggot.
What?
If you censor me, you're a flaggot.
You're a flagger.
They are flags.
I think they're called flaggers.
Flaggers. Damn flaggers always monitoring us.
And they're from Florida. Flaggers.
So, anything else you want to plug up, my man?
How long have we been going for?
Like an hour?
Anybody have any idea? How long has your live been on? Phone died.
Yeah, 40 minutes was when it died.
Take a look. Let me take a little peek.
Yay, take a look.
Flaggers.
Yeah.
Killer. So I was watching this other podcast that Ashley's putting
You watch
on.
other podcasts?
Listening.
How dare you? Nah, just kidding.
Cross reference.
Yeah. It was like hour 20 minutes is like what she kept it at. And she edited it down to like an hour 20 minutes.
Well, she's a bitch.
Yeah. Totally. I think that like when you bombard with information like that podcast, you gotta set a time limit on that
But
one.
you know how sometimes when you're having so much fun with your friends that you just don't want the
That's
night
fine.
to end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it feels.
Sometimes, yeah, it does.
And you know, like that's cool too. Like if it goes longer than like 3 hours, you can break it up into segments.
I thought you were being sarcastic. Like, yeah, if it's cool if it goes longer than 3 hours.
That's super good.
It feels like it's deep water, and you have to have notes, and you have to take secret breaks, because we watch these other podcasts, and when they go 3 hours, what they're not telling you is they're taking pee breaks.
Yeah.
They're taking pause breaks. They have plenty of notes, and they're passing them to each other, and like, let's talk about when you wrote a book.
Yeah, we fucking like just kind of do it organically,
Yeah,
which is
freestyle.
super cool. Like, because the context comes rolling by, and like even with this paper, like I'll just glance at it real quick, and then like we're already talking about that subject, so it's like, huh, just seeing like, oh shit, we're actually going through this
Yeah.
organically without even like having to fucking get into deep details or like force the subject change. You know what I mean? I like that shit a lot.
It's better. It's
Yeah,
more.
I don't really like the idea of pre-arranged questions, really. When, like,
Yeah.
some people, they're like, send me the questions in advance. It's like, yeah, that's not kind of what we do here.
That's so
Like, we
flaggish.
just- we're gonna get flagged for that.
But from an artistic standpoint, you're making it the hardest on yourself and the easiest on the other people, because the other people have teams, and it's like they're on steroids, and you're trying to play baseball without steroids.
Mhm.
They have pre-talks. They have.
Yeah, you're pitching on Sosa, bro. At that
Yeah.
point in time.
They're passing softballs, and you're making me like really hit curves, which is dope too. But if the people don't have good vibes, it comes across.
No, yeah. But I mean, we're not having people on that we're not friends already
yeah,
with. I mean,
cool,
we've had
yeah.
people that we've just met, and thankfully it's been cool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we haven't had any of those weird experiences where it's just like we meet the person for the first time here and it's like, oh, fuck,
I don't
what
like
did
this
we sign up
motherfucker.
for?
Yeah.
Let's keep this one 20 minutes.
Yeah. We've had a couple people that weren't like actively engaging, that's just their personality, you know what I mean? They're real passive people, where we had to kind of like engage heavily.
Mhm.
But that's totally fine. Like, we didn't have any assholes on.
Our
where,
arms
like,
get tired from carrying the whole goddamn podcast.
Yeah.
Or weird arguments where they're like,
That's usually me and him. We start
Yeah.
arguing about
Yeah.
dumb shit.
And that's cool though, because like the people can feel the awkwardness of being in the center of that shit.
But that's our relationship, dude. That's how we talk when the cameras aren't off and we're not recording.
Yeah,
It's like,
what you see is what you get.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
really don't put on any fucking face. And that's another thing too, with like some podcasts, like they put on a personality and then fucking, nah, this is pretty much it. This is all you get right here.
it's like when you meet these like influencers or these personalities in real life, and they're not that high energy, wacky fucking character they portray. But then as soon as the camera comes on, it's like, wow, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, I
It's
hate
like,
that
oh
shit.
my god, dude.
I hate when people tap with their nails on stuff like the ASMR.
Oh.
I hate, dude, that fucking bugs me a lot more than it should, bruh. Like, people are like on the camera and they're talking like this, and they're
That's why I feel like sometimes the way we start our podcast, where I have to like, we're already talking, you know, we're already hanging out, we're chilling, and now I gotta cut and be like, hey, what's up, everybody? It's like that even feels a little disingenuous to me. It's like, it seems so showy.
No, I like that because we have an organic conversation, but then you have to have an intro, right? So it's like, okay, let's take
You
some
don't
time.
have to. That's the thing. You
It's
don't
cool,
really
though.
have to.
It's cool to have it just because, like, if someone's coming on, they want to know, like, you know what I mean? Like an introduction. It's a formality to a show, I think, that you need to have. What do you think of, off topic, but not really, what do you think about the expo this year?
It was fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah?
I definitely had like a serotonin crash after, just from not like the next day not waking up to go do it again. It's just like, fuck, work.
Yeah.
Ugh, shitty.
I was exhausted, man.
I got to go at the end. It was really cool to see old friends and new faces, and it seems like a lot of the products were better this year. In the past, there was some where you're like, I don't know if this works. The ones I saw there, like Organic Shield, it's pretty legit. I've used it for a couple of years. Kills flies in my Rottweiler yard. It helps my plants immensely. Two of my best buds that are into plants use it and have phenomenal experiences. There was a lot of local food people that I know and processors, so that's cool because the small businesses, if it's so exciting and scary to be a small business, but you're cheering for the other small businesses, and you're like, how could people go to Target or with cannabis? How could people get cookies when there's some guy in Cunilla that makes it for reals? Or there's edible people that are making like medicine for people that are dying of cancer. I'd rather get it for the homie that's working with people than some big weird lab where they're probably like testing positive for mercury and aluminum and
Yeah, I like
radiation.
that. I liked
Mhm.
what you said because there's a lot of people here locally that can take care of those needs. One thing I would change is probably not holding an event on a Saturday when we have another extra day for the event, because I noticed a lot of the vendors were super tired.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't even show up too.
Like, just make it a 2-day
A
event.
bunch of them
No.
got sick, got
What you
colds.
mean?
Yeah, I'd say like hold that squish off after the expo.
Well, that's people's choices. Nobody says
Yeah.
you have to do all these things, dude.
No,
you
but
could be a little more. I'm trying to find a diplomatic word to use.
Energy conservative.
Yeah. I was gonna say conservative, but
but-
not. That's not what I
Well,
really
the whole
mean, but,
reason
like,
why we put it on is for people to go, right? Or they put it on for people to go. So, like, I think you would get a better turnout if it was after the Sunday. You know what I mean? Maybe shave Sunday off a little early to allow people to funnel over to that event.
Oh, you mean just move the after party type?
Yeah,
events
yeah.
to the
Because
end?
the after party was
Oh,
until
yeah.
like 5 a.m. on
Well,
Saturday. So Sunday when people
Was
woke
wiped
up,
out.
they were fucked.
Oh no, yeah, guarantee.
Yeah, so I think
Guaranteed.
that would be a cool little thing. But as far as the energy was good, you know, I feel that like our booth, we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was the main
yeah.
thing, you know, like show people that fucking we're here. And the education thing is one thing that the past years the expo was for, you know, education and like making sure Hawaii is put on the map. Me being from Hawaii, I never really cared to see too much of the people from the States selling their product, you know what I mean? Because that kind of puts a governor on the farmers out here, and it's like, oh, these guys are just coming over to sell product, you know?
They should have to add value and have something that's not already here, or that someone they shouldn't step on the local guy's toes.
No.
We try to do that with the shop in Hawaii Kai. The other shops are in Kailua or in Kaimuki.
Yep.
As the big honky guy, I don't want to like bust anybody's territory or disrespect anybody. That's old tattoo school rules. You carve your own little triangle. It's in your own neighborhood where you walk your dog and you take care of your people. In the same way, if they can come with a product that helps us or genetics that helps us and adds to the soup, good. But if you're going to come here with the same thing and try to undercut the homies, it's not going to... It's going to turn it into a swap meet instead of like a educational forum or
Right.
like superheroes sharing techniques.
Yeah,
That's
swap
kind of what
meet.
it is, right? It did feel like that, have that swap meaty
meet-ish.
vibe where it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to blow up anybody's spot, but the number of people that came up to the booth and I was like, you guys selling flour? It's like,
Yeah.
not at this one, homie.
And
But you could also blame the bigger entities that have huge funding and licenses overcharging people crazy,
Mhm.
so it makes the
Consumer want.
underground market the only viable option.
Totally.
For a kid that like waits tables, he's not going to be able to spend $500 for an ounce. So it makes it, and it's all these people that are different, and you don't. Tattoo conventions and cannabis conventions are interesting because you can talk to the breeder and you can talk to the man or the tattoo guy. And I can see why a kid would be like, I want to try some of this stuff from this famous Mendo dope guy or burner guy, because it like our media makes these guys seem so fire.
Yeah, clones was another thing I didn't like seeing because, like, as a grower, nothing is going to fuck me up more than having a pathogen come into my garden.
Yeah.
And
Were a lot of the clones that were out there from mainland dudes?
yes, and it wasn't tested.
How do you know?
They could all have tobacco
Oh,
virus and
yeah.
everything's going to be
Everything's
Palo.
fucked now.
Everything's not tested until it's tested. You know what I mean? Until you can show me that it's tested, it's not tested. And, you know, there's bugs that Hawaii hasn't seen. There's germs that Hawaii hasn't seen. And we have a delicate ecosystem. So bringing those over, it might not be a good look. You know what I mean? Like, just for safety reasons, like, everyone's up for the freedom of choice, but you got to be more considerate of your home and your
And
surroundings.
these guys aren't taking that into consideration
No,
at all when
no,
they bring
dude.
that shit over. Yeah, they're
It's
just
the
looking
same
to
as
flip a
people that
buck.
it's the same as people that tattoo out of their house. I've done it, but it's better to go to a pro. It's better to go to someone who's invested and got licensed or got educated, has a business, because what if someone charges $200 an hour, you're paying for the product, but you're mostly paying for the experience.
Mhm.
Or if you hire Kalei as a consultant, he's seen this like 25 times, this specific problem, and everyone failed because they didn't handle it. He has seen it, like the drying problem or the spider mite problem. He's seen it and can address it because you're paying for his experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
When these homies come with the new thing, it's like you're coming to the party with all this firepower, but you don't know how to properly dispense it.
Well, also, too, when you're buying a cut, you're buying someone else's work, right? Which is totally fine. You know, you're buying their hard work. But you get what you pay for. If this guy's an asshole and he doesn't really know, or if his grow is nowhere near your grow, it's not going to do what it needs to do. That's why I tell people seeds are the way. Yeah, you invest more time into seeds, but the phenols that you get
Yeah.
will be the phenols that you would want anyway.
You
So why
have more
wouldn't you?
control over the outcome, right?
Yeah, yeah. So you're not buying just plants, you're buying genetic potential, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everybody. And, you know, a lot of people showed up and they're like, hey, I just want to buy flour.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people, and the thing is, it was available at a lot of places. Like that probably wasn't a problem going up to other booths and saying that, and it was just like, sure.
I just don't want it to be a bad negative look for cannabis in Hawaii.
Yeah, it just makes it
trappy.
adds a level of like paranoia that doesn't need to be associated with an event like this.
I
It's
actually felt a little paranoid being at my booth, thinking that the cops are gonna come and like
they're just gonna bust everybody over there, but now they're looking at everybody over here too. It's like, God damn it, what the fuck?
And
We
like,
didn't do
if
shit.
everybody gets busted but me, makes me look like a fucking narc, right?
Kalei, we're gonna have to have a talk, bro.
Yeah, and like I mean, I got flower samples of what you could possibly be buying in the genetics
Seeds,
realm,
Right? Yeah.
but then it's easy to misconstrue that as me trapping now.
You're like you are. Is this advertising for sales?
Yeah, I don't want that stigma because like everything about my company has nothing to do with sales. It's all self-sustainability and being independent.
Teach a man to fish.
Yeah,
So he can smoke his own
for a
weed.
lifetime, bruh.
That's why the government struggling to do what's right for the people and listen to the farmers makes so much more problems. If you handled it like other markets and they had an outdoor market or they had a flea market or they had a farmer's market, those people could be served and taken care of in a legal appropriate way, and they wouldn't come to the convention. It could be all education and new products and new science and techniques and more of a higher education vibe or cross-pollination.
Like a tattoo convention, right? If I walk into tattoo convention, yeah, I could get a tattoo. People are slanging tats left and right, but I'm probably gonna catch something, or it's a higher likelihood I'm gonna catch something because of all these people. I would rather spend the time to go to a tattoo convention to meet my artist, talk story with him, get to know him, schedule out something, and then go to his sterile fucking or clean place.
Yeah, better energy. Not all this, like, it feels like an airport, but people are doing bloodletting ceremonies.
It's kind of a kink, though, to some people, right?
And then the bathroom is so barfy that they have to put up signs: don't change or touch your wound.
Dressings, yeah.
Because people are trying to enter it in contests or clean it in the sink where people are washing doo-doo hands.
Yeah.
And it's like a Star Wars bar, like Mos Eisley, like, ah! No, bro.
Fucking, yeah.
Tattooing.
And they're out of town people coming in here to trap tattoos. They have to charge extra to pay for their convention.
The booth fees.
Booth fees. They're rushing, trying to win contests. They don't care how it's going to heal in 10 years.
Yeah.
Same as people selling clones here. You don't know what damage the viruses are going to go spread to the neighborhoods. You're going to be back in Sacramento with your money.
Yeah. Not even caring how this fucking poor bastard's feeling with his new sleeve that's infected and fucked up.
Right.
And
Or like the dude that just has fucking russets all in his garden now because you didn't pay attention.
Thanks.
Like for me, I remember I'm guilty as charged back in the day grabbing clones, and like
easy, Dewey Cox. Nobody
Guilty
get-
as charged.
guilty. No, guilty.
Thank you.
No, guilty.
Thanks.
I'm fucking guilty, dude. And like knowing about this disease beforehand really fucking helped me dodge bullets, And ethically, that wasn't ethical of me, but now I know, like, nah, don't. Just fucking hunt them by
And these
seed,
people
dude.
selling clones, they might not even be. I mean, the people buying them probably aren't as aware. You know what I mean? And
They're
the
just
guys
trying
are
to
first.
get-
and these
they
guys are just
always-
trying to sell their shit off, so they're not going to be like warning you of the potential pitfalls that
Yeah.
comes. It's crazy.
It's like the people who sell the fish around here to people that just want to get into a saltwater tank, or their kids
Yeah.
want a Nemo tank. Little do they know that those fish were harvested by spraying chemicals into the water and scooping them up, and they're always going to have disease. They're going to have ick, and they're going to have a weird life. And you thought they're going to be your 2-year fish friend. No, bro, they're going to die early and weird. And your kid's going to be like, why is Nemo floating?
When, the
And you
elephant
get
in
to
the
have
room.
the talk about life and death with your children.
Yeah, right. Show them the life.
Oh, my fucking fish just died
Bro,
recently. It's sad.
These guys are
Same
going to
here.
buy clones. They're going to grow it out, and they're going to clone it and go around the island and sell it for $200 a clone.
Yeah.
And then you're going to watch this disease just spread.
What was your fish's name?
Scuttlebutt?
His name was unoriginal. His name was Upside Down Catfish because that's what he was. He was an upside down catfish. That's what they're called. They're the strangest fish. They're this fat, plump-ass catfish, but they swim literally upside down everywhere.
Looks like they're smiling or proud.
I had a
It's like-
salamander
it's the
named
weirdest
Gorf.
thing.
Frog
Dwarf?
backwards.
Oh.
I had a corn snake that I got in the dorms named Asaph because that's who wrote the 73rd Psalm. And I got caught by my RA having this corn snake in my room. So I put it in my friend's room, Chris. And Chris was part of a church that the whole youth group came to the game. And they wanted to see what it's like to live in a dorm. Chris forgot that he gave me a key, and I told him I could put my snake into his dorm room and hide it from the RAs. And I had just begun to feed him pinky mice instead of crickets. But the person at the pet store didn't give me the rundown that you need to boil them, cook them, or get them so thawed that they're hot. They're warm, room temperature. And he was kind of frozen inside. So I gave Asaph a little baby mousesicle, and he was fighting the cold, and he got up on his heat rock, but alas, he died. And because we went to college football games at like 6 in the morning, and this was like 6 at night, they went in to tour the room with Chris's whole youth group, and the whole thing smelled like cooking snake and rat. And they're like, and all ran out. And he looked at me and like, what did you leave? I'm like, my snake is in there. And we went in, and Asaph was like bacon curled.
A strip of bacon.
Then I had one of the guys in the football team was probably autistic, but he was a running back, and he was really, really good. The night before the national championship, he got busted with 30 pounds of weed by the feds. And our coaches were like, of all the times to go on a run, why did you go? And they asked for 30 pounds, and you gave it to him. It's obviously a fed. You're in prison. Oh, my God, you can't be a running back. But I would go over and take care of his sugar gliders. And when he was in prison, I took care of his sugar gliders before his mom got them. So I went and got a sugar glider and had that in my dorm room. But they're nocturnal. And when you have a football game or practice, they stay up all night going, rigga, 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 because I had a circus wheel for him in his cage. You go, rigga, 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 rigga. And when you would blow smoke in his face, it was like chopped and screwed. It was like, rigga, 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 rigga. It would totally change him. And I went to Michigan State to see a basketball game. And I had him in a makeshift bird cage. And I had all the doors tied down. And Asaph got his foot, or the sugar glider's name was Superfly Jimmy Snooka, but I call him Snook because he could fly. He got his little foot caught in the door and died upside down asphyxiation.
Just hanging.
And I was all sad, and I cried and told my dad about it. And my dad was like, you know, old school, like, I don't know what to do. So he took him out of the trash where I threw him and took him to his friend that was a taxidermist.
Nice.
And they taxidermied him, but they put him in a fighting stance, and they didn't have the right size eyes. So they put raccoon eyes on him.
Holy shit.
And so his eyes looked like he was on amphetamine. And my dad gave it to
just
me.
fucked up his
and
sugar
was like,
glider.
I hope that this helps you get over the
He's
death.
on like karate fucking.
Like he's being electrocuted, and he's like, it's okay if you want to throw him away.
His eyes are
So we
wide
buried
open.
him in the back of my yard. Eyes wide open.
You're pouring dirt over the sugar
Dirt on him.
I will remember you, Drew. Snooker.
It's all. And there's the dirt's just covering him.
This is Indian burial grounds. I'll see you
My
later.
backyard.
I'll see you later.
In Ohio, someone's we buried my dad, my cats, my dogs, my sugar gliders, my guinea pigs. Whatever kid lives in that house now is like, all these animals keep coming into the room at night and trying to talk to me.
There's so much hauntings going
This
on.
old man, he's really nice though and hugs me.
We have like 3 pets buried in our backyard. Actually 4. One is a Jackson chameleon.
Oh,
I
nice.
think that'd be fun to dig that one up later. Like, oh shit, a dinosaur.
Yeah.
They'd have a
A
beach.
micro dinosaur.
They'd have a
I
beach.
just saw a cool painting from the 1500s of someone crossing a river, and it looks like they were riding brontosauruses or dragons.
It was a painting though.
So
It was a painting from the 1500s. Why would they include that?
So there's a
Where
explanation
dinosaurs
Graham
even,
Hancock
whereas
talked about that
dinosaurs
shit.
even discover like conventional, Smithsonian like archaeologists that are discovering dinosaurs. Were they even discovered in the 1500s?
You didn't watch Ancient.
I never finished. I'm only on episode
in the
like
Americas,
4.
the ground sloth was something that inhabited the Americas.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of giant short-faced bears, fucking saber-toothed
Yep.
cats and shit. I think there's an American lion even.
Yep.
Yeah, a giant one. Every culture in the world believes in dragons. We say they're fake. The Chinese astrology has all real animals except for one magical. I went on a hero's journey to find my ancestors because when you're white, like, you feel like in history class and in our culture, like, I'm so bad, I gotta go find.
They're all talking shit about
I
you.
gotta go find the nice versions of my culture. So I went to Scotland and saw my family castle, and it was awesome. I went to Germany, to Worms, Germany. And bro, they believe in dragons. They wear dragon claws. They throw up dragon signs to each other. It's all over. And when I would ask them, like, you don't believe in dragons? I'm like, I want to believe. Help me to believe.
Do you think they're actually like fire breathing or just like big lizards? Because Komodo dragons, right?
Yeah.
Their saliva is flame enough?
Pretty much.
There was this, I don't forget what year it was. It was in an encyclopedia, and in the entry under dragons, the description and stuff, it said like now they're more rare, meaning that like they were more plentiful back in the days.
You think they're flying?
I mean, I don't know how physics works like
pterodactyls fly, you know what I mean?
I don't know if pterodactyls really were a real thing.
If you look at how humans behave about their animals and their pets and what's important to them to draw, and the clients that I come in, a lot of them get their spirit animal, like a bear or a lion, but a lot of them get their puppies and their kitties and their paw prints. I don't think all these art people made stuff that was imaginary that much, prolifically. I don't think it's scientifically and statistically logical to assume that they were making up stuff in so many different cultures. For so many different cultures, like, or it's part of our imagination in every human that dragons are, but that would be so weird and rare for all these different cultures to have winged giant lizard things that they all choose to be imaginary.
Oh, Graham Hancock says it's rocket ships. Yeah,
What's that?
dragons,
Oh yeah.
fire breathing. It's the
Upside down.
people who
It's
came
airplanes.
from outer space and spacecraft.
I
And
mean,
these plumes of smoke were like the
think
tails of the
that's
dragons.
like, I think it's more so like they idolize this animal and they depicted it however they could because it did so much fantastic things, right? Like de-evolution, if you go back in time where the 1500s or wherever you think that fucking we intersected with them, right?
Who's them?
Dragons.
Oh,
Right. And it's like I would be more inclined to believe that we inhabited during one time period as them, rather than it being an alien. You know what I mean? Because like the art that depicts dragons are way more advanced, and they could pretty much tell the difference between, or at least characterize the difference between a dragon and a rocket ship, right? Even like in Mesopotamia, they have drawings that could be depicted as rocket ships in there as well, and like even that looks a little bit different than a fucking dragon. You know what I mean? So I don't think they've had dragons be really. And another thing is too, like we went to the Natural History Museum in LA, and then they showed the exhibit of a dinosaur in like the 60s, yeah? And then they showed one today, and it's like it's way different looking of what they thought it was just in the 60s versus today. So it's like nothing we know is accurate at all.
You know the conspiracy surrounding dinosaurs nowadays?
I know all about it. I love this one.
Is that dinosaurs never existed?
I could
They
believe that
were
as well.
dragons, actually, because they've never found a complete dinosaur skeleton.
Right.
They found pieces and then they've constructed the rest.
Totally.
So all of them are just kind of made up from imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This might go here, this could go here kind of shit.
I mean, it's more plausibility and imagination at that point because they found so much bones that like a femur kind of looks like a femur.
no,
you
yeah,
know?
definitely found femurs, but maybe those were giants. We don't know. That's the thing is,
I'm sure there's
we
some
don't know
sort
what
of DNA classification that you can throw them into, right, off of the bones. Like There's
But
a
that's-
lot of things we can do with
That's
tissue.
where the conspiracy comes in, is that they did it and they found out what it really was and they're hiding it and they're just telling you it's dinosaurs
All
too.
the dinosaurs in every museums are replicas.
Yeah, none of them are real.
None of them.
They always have. The Vatican and all these museums always say they hold the real thing in back because we couldn't handle it.
The Smithsonian.
If you follow the money, unfortunately, as a conspiracy theorist, you can do the study, you can do the research, and then you can go like the accountant route and say, let's try to use some science, follow the money. Historically, do people lie or exaggerate so people will come to their place?
Totally.
Yeah.
There was a period of time when like archaeology was booming in this new industry, and there was this thing called the Bone Wars.
Yes.
Yep.
Whereas this back and forth, like I found this, and people were known to fake shit to say like, look what I found.
It's like the moon landing,
It's
right?
like all bullshit. Well, yeah.
Us and Russia, and like we're just trying to go and see who.
That's a
gets
good
first.
analogy because when humans are racing to be the first or the best, they will lie to be the first or the
Fuck
best.
yeah.
Or the people that get out of the Boston Marathon and cut and get on a motorcycle and then get back in line like, oh, I finished fourth in the Boston. Like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't.
Like Lance Armstrong.
We
right?
did that
He
shit.
got busted for fucking
That
cheating.
oil.
We did that shit at the Kanoalani Fun Run.
Yeah.
Where we cut through the neighborhood, but not because we wanted to win, just so it would be over quicker. We didn't
Yeah.
want to do this thing, but we were being forced to. So, you know, you get off course, cut through fucking neighbors. And
We did it with my
fucking-
coach, and he caught us in the back of my friend's truck. It's like, get back down there.
No, yeah, we were like, fuck this. We just want this to be over. Because there's like a carnival at the end, right? Everybody's partying and having fun. It's like,
It's like you did 10 miles in 5 minutes 30 seconds. Oh,
it's like you
Not
get
even
there,
sweating.
you get there in first place, and like the next person behind you is like 45 minutes. Like, shit.
Oops.
I didn't time that
Should
correctly.
stop by Dave's Ice Cream real quick. Shout out to
Oh,
Dave's
shit.
Ice Cream.
Dave's ice cream.
Come up with fucking bonbon chocolate all over your face.
Yeah.
There's Dave's over at the other shopping center and in Waimanalo, yeah.
Slowly taking over the world.
So yummy.
Is he?
No. It's just, it's a
slowly
franchise.
regressing and
Yeah,
losing shops. Actually,
BlackRock just bought them, so yeah, they are.
they're gonna blow up soon for real.
Vanguard ice cream.
The next person who tries to assassinate the president's gonna come work from Dave's Ice
They
Cream.
asked Dave's to open up a chain in Gaza on the new development.
The first Western ice cream chain
American
to
cream.
take over the
Dave's.
Middle East.
Trump said it's good. It's lovely ice cream. It's Hawaiian.
Best.
Obama loves it. Obama likes this cream. Have you been to Obama's house lately?
I've never been to Obama's house
He
ever.
invited me over for dinner, but I had to tell him
He
I was busy.
lives.
Oh, you mean Barry? Barry's house?
Barry.
Bada
Barry.
Barry.
Barry and
Bathhouse
Mike?
Barry lives right over here.
Barry and
Oh,
Mike's
Uncle,
house?
Uncle Mike.
Uncle
Barry.
Mike. He took over the
The Lonnie Kai house?
Magnum PI house.
What? The one
He
by
bought the
Cromwell's?
Yeah. No, by
No.
Wamanalo.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Iona's, yeah? He bought that and turned it into a 3-house dealio. While they were excavating the beach, they found Evie Capuna and just put them in boxes and put them in the basement like there's no big deal.
That's why chefs die over there, right? Is that where
That
they-
was no, he
that
died
wasn't
in the Hamptons. His chef died while
Yeah.
paddleboarding in a foot of water.
Like, just, yeah. Mhm.
And
Uh-oh.
over there at this house in Hawaii, we're very careful with our shorelines. But if you're rich enough, you can pay off fines in advance and get giant rocks put out in front of your yard that kill the ecological system, the natural flow. But you have nice waves, and your sand's way sweeter.
Yeah.
And I went over there and tried to look around, and I noticed there was Secret Service agents everywhere. So I went up and talked to them. They have the earbuds, and I had just gotten my concealed carry license, and I was feeling gun talky, so I tried to talk guns with this guy. He's like, bro. And he went like this. He had a micro-foldable, collapsible AK-49
Yeah.
Element of P.
Whatever the fucking...
Super collapsible John Wick mobile. And he started talking to me, and he said he was from Iowa, and I'm from Ohio, and I kind of got him out of character, so get him to start
Mhm.
coming. He's like, oh, shoot, hold on. Yes, sir. Okay, ma'am. Then this lady comes and is like, I need to relieve you. And they made him leave his post. And this lady, this poor black lady, is all dressed in long sleeve pants and shirts and a bulletproof vest, stands there and she's like, I'm not willing to talk to you like the other agent. Have a nice day, sir. They told me to leave, and she was sweating.
Got her on the beach.
He's fired.
Yeah, he's done. He's murdered.
like,
You see him holding a sign.
He's
Like,
dead.
Shit, I'm sorry, dude.
The fact that they don't know what you guys were talking about is grounds for murder.
Murder.
You should be like, hey, what's the best way to get into old Barry's house there?
You gotta be gay first.
Oh, yeah. You
You
gotta have a massive hog.
You ain't getting in there straight, I don't think. Anyways,
P. Diddy, if you're P. Diddy and you have baby oil, you can slide.
slide right in. All right, so now shall we wrap it up on that note?
Yeah. Oily.
Boy, let's slide on into home base and wrap this puppy up. So tell everybody where they can find you.
Here.
You
Where
can
are
find
we?
us in the Hawaii Kai Shopping Center in Hawaii Kai on the east part of Oahu. You can check us out at tattoolabyrinth.com or tattoo.labyrinth on the gram. You can come in the shop, talk to me. We can go get lunch, and we can make you an awesome tattoo if you want. I would be
That's
honored to tattoo you.
And
That's
73rd Eye?
73rd Eye Tattoos is me on the gram. And, yeah, I'm really grateful for you guys' podcast and coming, checking out my new dojo. And we're going to have a lot of fun in the next 10 years here.
It is a sick dojo.
We love it here. It's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Special technique of shadow boxing.
Yeah, it is.
Gotta edit in the some Wu-Tang interludes.
Shadow boxing.
And I think in the future, under the Everyone Knows Your Highs nomenclature, I'm going to have my own podcast.
No, it's going to be under the Come Together podcast.
The Come Together
Network.
Podcast Network. Come together right
Exactly.
now. Overdrew. And I believe my podcast should be called Enter the Labyrinth.
Okay.
And then we'll tell more stories in the future.
Will the
I like
theme
that.
song be something off the Labyrinth soundtrack? Like your intro to your podcast?
It's only forever.
We gotta have something, dude. Do you like that movie?
Yeah, that's one of the confirmations. I quoted the movie.
No,
When
I
he
mean,
says it's only forever. And
is that the end when he's doing the slow song to her?
yeah, and Karen said that, yes, we should name the shop that because tattoos,
Or
when
forever?
people ask, like, yeah, it's only forever.
Right,
It's just
right.
tattoo.
Oh shit!
But
Okay.
impermanence, they go through the impermanence. In the Labyrinth, who do you think David Bowie was?
I mean,
Flag it.
he's the goblin. He's the Goblin King. But are you asking me to think deeper about who he
Yeah.
really is? Isn't it? No, I don't know. I mean,
That's
who?
my shit
I think,
now.
I think he's the bad guy, the one that takes the souls of the babies.
Oh, you mean it's like that?
Yeah. It's
Oh, oh, like the dudes in Peter Pan,
yeah,
or not Pinocchio.
it's-
Take them to Boys to the
Pinocchio,
Fantasy Island.
Labyrinth,
Mm-hmm.
and Peter Pan are all the same story.
So it's more.
Everyone's dead, and
It's-
they're going. Their
Have you heard?
souls are owned.
I know we said we're gonna wrap it up, but did you hear the theory of Peter Pan and Captain Hook?
No, tell me please.
How Peter Pan is actually the villain
Yes.
because he's trapping all these children's souls, and Captain Hook was an old lost boy, but he broke free of the spell, and he's actually trying to free these fucking kids from the clutches of Peter Pan, who just wants to be with little kids and be around little kids and be kids forever and just have fun and not face responsibilities of
Can
adulthood.
Peter Pan moonwalk?
Maybe. That's ignorant. That's so ignorant.
ignorant. I just saw that last night. I fell asleep to that shit, dude.
But anyway, yeah, we're trying to wrap it up. What about you, Kalei? Where can people find you? Or I'll go then. Voices from the Planet. Check me out on Instagram, wherever you find your podcasts. And the Come Together Podcast Network coming soon. Check it out on Instagram.
Boom shakalaka.
Kalei
He's
is the
heating
guru.
up.
Come check me out, the Grow Guru.
Grow Guru Supply.
Yeah. Check me out, Grow Guru on IG, Grow Guru Hawaii. And check me out at The Gurus Grow, www.gurusgrow.com. And Kuleana Ka'aina's nonprofit coming up also. That's a little project I'm working on.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some farming and some education for sustainability. So keep
Hell
an eye
yeah.
out for that.
Kalei is for the children.
Yes.
Do it.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
The woo.
Tattoo Labyrinth is for the children.
Sponsor time. Mills Nutrients. Mills pays the bills. Check them out. millsnutrients.com.
And
Everybody.
the new organic line.
everybody anybody knows what Mills can do, and they all will be very proud to tell you about. I know Mills. I used to use Mills 27 years ago.
Yeah, right.
It's
We got that a lot.
fucking
At the
crazy,
expo.
yeah.
And then they have a new organic line out, which is like groundbreaking shit. So if you like Mills, you're gonna love the organic line. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you, Mills.
Shout out to Pakalolo Farmers for the best clothing line ever, and
Coolest
yeah,
tattoos.
coolest tattoos ever from this guy over here. Yeah, PakaloloFarmers.com. Check them out. Also,
Hybrid Collective in beautiful Kaimuki. Check them out for all your heady pieces, affordable
Twilight
pieces.
Avenue.
Absolutely. Keep it Kaimuki.
Park in front.
check
Park
out.
it. Ask the auntie in the back. Just tell her, it's going to run in real fast. I'm just going to park here, and she usually lets you slide.
Yeah, guaranteed. Bro.
Tell them everyone knows your high sent you.
Yeah, Eric. Easy.
Good luck.
We have a parking tab after
Yeah.
that. Shout out to Print Shops Hawaii. Just printing up the fucking nicest designs, the cleanest, and just supporting the brother out there, man. He's a really good guy, and he's been fucking helping us out from day one. So thank you, Brother Kona from Print Shops Hawaii. Check him out, IG Print Shops Hawaii.
Yep, and Proact Solutions Hawaii. You got to type it all the way in because for some reason they're shadow banned
Shadow
on
ban.
Instagram.
I don't know why. It's so
Like you
stupid.
can type all the way to the H in HI, and it's retarded. It doesn't pop up. But yeah,
Proud of
Proact Products HI on Instagram for all your solar lighting needs. They got a ton of shit. They got these cool new smoking devices. Check them out.
Goblets.
You
Ganja
can
goblet.
drink your ganja, sip your cup, as they say in Jamaica.
We
Sip
like
at,
it.
Chad.
Bomba Clot. Check out Brutal Mars Arts for our nasty logo. BrutalMarsArts.com. Tell them everyone knows your high sent you.
And my favorite meat in all the world, Meat Lux. Go check them out for all your Wagyu, lamb. They just got a box. I saw they posted something. They had some boxes that came in with new shit. So check them out if you're a meatitarian,
Carnivorian.
carnivore nation. Is there anything else? Is that it?
I think that's all our sponsors.
Remember in Expo I was saying we forgot one?
Yeah.
Did we though? I couldn't.
No,
I
we
still
didn't.
can't think of
I
it.
think we're pretty fucking thorough, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And again, if we did forget you, I apologize. Thank you, Drew, for having
Thank
us
you.
in your
Thank you, brother.
beautiful abode. And we appreciate you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right.
Come see me.
You got to clap it out from over there. Oh, I didn't clap it out over here. Okay.